كين دستان خوش ببو بهامكان تان جاري كتير بخيراتني همو لكين عزيزان لردا داولا خوشكي عزيز نسيمة كين كتشريف بره وبش انجليزي كي بشكشتانكا.
I'd like to welcome everyone and thank you for coming today. Your presence here is so important, not just for women, but for our country, Kurdistan, our society that we live in Canada. Today is International Women's Day. As Gloria Steinem said, the story of women's struggle for equality belongs to no single feminist, nor to any one organization, but to the collective efforts of everyone who cares about human rights. It is my pleasure to attend this International Women's Day that is being hosted by Komala because of Komala's stance on women's rights. For those of you who are unaware of what Komala is, it is an organization that was founded in 1967 to not only fight for Kurdish freedom and independence from oppression, but it was also the first Kurdish political party to be based on and institute female Peshmerga soldiers under the ideology of equality and parity. And in fact, gender equality has always been at the core of Komala's ideology. In a society where women are forced to be subservient to men in a patriarchal society, the female Peshmerga fight alongside the men as equals, something that was readily observable in the recent events of Peshmerga forces fighting ISIS. Today is the day we can come together to not only celebrate the achievements that women have made thus far, but to realize the challenges that they continue to face, and to give greater attention to the issue of women's rights and gender equality. Despite the great strides that have been made by international women's human rights movements across the globe, girls as young as 8 years old are still forced into child marriages. Female mutilation or female circumcision still occurs in many societies. The stoning of women to death and trafficking into forced labor and sex slavery, as we saw with ISIS in the case of the Yazidi women. Women are refused access to education or political participation, and some are trapped in conflict where rape is perpetuated as a weapon of war. And in many countries, discriminating laws further stigmatize rape victims by society and police and even their own families, where victims face the fear of honor killings for violating their family's so-called honor, because blame is placed on the victim and not the perpetrator. It is not only important to acknowledge the contribution of women to society as mothers and sisters and aunts and daughters and grandmothers, but also their contributions to society as businesswomen, scientists, teachers, and even soldiers. And it is important for society to realize that it can never reach its true or full potential unless each and every individual is allowed to make their own contribution as equals. It is my pleasure today to introduce Dr. Dilek, a postdoctoral fellow from my own university at SFU, who has a doctorate in sociology of immigration and education. She is also doing research on Kurdish youth in the greater Vancouver area. So if you are interested, please let her know after this program. It is my honor and pleasure to introduce you. Thank you.
Hello, thanks for coming. I'm afraid these two words, I can't speak Kurdish, so I'm afraid I have to continue my talk in English. Is it okay? Okay. Thank you very much. So first, I want to thank you. Thank you very much for your participation in this great event. And thank you very much. I want to thank to the organizers for inviting me. And I would like to acknowledge that we are on the unceded territories of First Nations peoples. So my name is Dilek, and it means desire in English, and in Kurdish it's Arezu, I guess. I just learned from my friends, and I am partly Kurdish. My grandfather is from Siirt, Vancouver, Kurdistan. And so, if you like, please consider me as one of your unknown relatives, if it is possible for you. I'm sorry I can't speak Kurdish because of the, the assimilation. So you will hear more about me along the way. And so I just want to just pass on the topic of my talk.
زۆر سپاس دەکەم لە کۆمەڵەی شۆڕژێری زەحمەتکێشانی کوردستانی ئێران کە ئەو بەرنامەی داناوە بەرنامەی 8 مارچ و زۆر لە ئێوەش سپاس دەکەم کە هێشتا کونێمامێتەوە سپاسی دەکەم بریاتوانی باتان خۆتان بزانم بەدا ئەگەر بەنە پێشتر چاکترتان دەتوانین چونکە لێم هەموو شتێک نایشتە سەرێرەوە بەڵام وا دیارە شکولە بەخۆتان چاوتان زۆر کردیان ئەو بەرنامەی زۆر مهمەکە دانراوە ئەوڕۆکانیە ئەوەندەی ئەمن لەبێرم دێ دەتوانم بڵێم 18 ساڵە لێرە هەواڵیم جارێکە یەک دانە حیزبی کوردی بۆ 8 مارچ سخۆنڕاییدا لەنیا ئەلبەتە پارێکە یەکێک لە دۆستان لای نابوو وەلی وا لێرە مشکاتی بە حیزبەکەی هەبووانم بەرحاڵ وەلێەوە هەواڵیدانەیە ئومیدوارم ئەوە بێتە ڕەسمێک کە هەمیشە ئیدامی هەبێت